We're a few miles outside Bury St Edmunds and just outside the little village of Chedburgh. And this is the Church of All Saints. As we can see here, it's a mainly Victorian, mid-Victorian building with unusually it's got a big spire on that tower. That is a very big spire on a tiny little church. We're on the side of a busier main road here. The road from Bury St Edmunds to Haverhill. And the churchyard. It's raised up from the road. It's in loving memory of Joseph Woolard. He died the 22nd of December 1922, and Betsy, his wife, who died in 1911. The churchyard here is split into two halves really. We've got a lower part by the side of the hedge, which is just beside the main road. Oh, look at that beautiful colour, that yellow in the field. Anyway, it's got a number of older headstones there, and then we've got a higher section here, which is the level of where the church is, and this has got lots of older graves. This one here is in quite a bad state of repair. There's one here which is completely gone back to nature, with a cross that looks as if it's also fallen over, and a little collection of them here. Seems to be in quite a state. Whether this is a family grave or whether the headstones have been added to this, I don't know. Quite grand really. Don't know whether we can see some of the dates on these. Well, here we can see 1869. This one here is 1855. But that's been broken and suffering from wear. And here, in almost the shadow of the tower, we've got a whole collection of headstones. Some double ones here. That's nice to see. We've got flowers left on this one. So if we stand here, we can see this tower, which is mid-Victorian. I think from what I've read that this was designed by somebody from Bury St Edmunds in about 1840 something. It's quite impressive to have that tower with a spire on it, unusual for this area of Suffolk. And this part of the building here is flint. At the side here we've got one of my favourite scenes again, which is of course headstones underneath the trees in a most atmospheric way. Absolutely stunning. I just love all this. If we look at the church from this side, we can see A lot of the building and construction work of it is actually Victorian. It's difficult to tell where the old original medieval church may have existed, and that tower at the side, which is at the side of the building, is absolutely Victorian, and all these buttresses here are Victorian. I suspect most of this is Victorian. The windows were added then, probably. The churchyard itself extends around to the side and put in here, which is very good and probably very necessary. Little extension at the side of the church, small wooden door. A lot of older headstones here. That one's supported from falling over any further. Now here we can see a flint wall which has been repaired and changed and altered when this window was presumably put in. We can only guess that perhaps there was a taller window there. Was this part of the church the medieval chapel? I guess so. A rather old porch and a wheelie bin. It's a good place for a wheelie bin. Churchyard ends not very far from the entrance to the church. It's a nice wooden porch. So we've got an open porch here, no glass, tiled floor, wooden bench. The church is locked, unfortunately. That's nice. So, sweet little medieval church with a Victorian creation, which we can't get into, but maybe we can see something through the windows. There's a broken pane here. This is the altar end of the church, and we can have a look down through the stained glass window and see what the inside is like. So if we stand next to the church here, we can get a good idea, well, first of all, of the busy road that it sits next to, and also the high point that the church sits on, which unusually we're looking down upon Suffolk countryside. When we look up at this church again, you can see quite clearly but it's a fairly new roof. That section's all tile, that's fairly new. Variation between the Victorian brick and the medieval flint. At the front of the tower there are some rather lovely memorials here with graves and some benches. Lovely window there. It's quite an attractive church, this. A real mixture though of old and new. Anne, who was the wife of John Major. So that's the Church of All Saints in Chedburgh. Quite a nice little church, though we can't go in it, it's locked. But it's got that lovely tower with the spire to the side. And two porches this side here. Would have been nice to go in there. That's quite a nice little church. I'm quite taken with that.